tell you what, I feel like a fry cook at McDonald's trying to explain a medium rare steak at a proper restaurant. These guys are out of my league, straight up. I'm just going to put that right out there. Tell you guys, these guys are out of my league. They're an absolutely beautiful shoe, an incredible collaboration. But it's one of those sort of like shoes that's, you know, it's so beautiful, so incredible, so unique that you have to be an absolute connoisseur of shoes to be able to talk about it and do it justice. That I am not. I do know a lot about shoes, and we're into something like day 800 of consecutive content on YouTube without a single day missed, like weekends, the whole thing, every single day dropping that content. So I do know a lot about shoes, and I've talked a lot about sneakers in the last 2.5 years. But even then, like I say, I feel like a fry cook from McDonald's trying to talk about a real, steak at a real restaurant. So, but I'm still going to give it a crack. I'm still going to go in and have a look at these shoes and try and give you guys a look at it. Now, there's all questions about the drop date. There was already stuff about raffles happening at the Carpet Company stores, and then later drops. And I'm not even going to go there. It might already have dropped as much as it's gone. There might be a bigger drop coming. Some sites say they're dropping next week. Some sites say they already dropped. All of that aside, I'm here to talk about the shoe, not the drop date. So we'll be getting into that today, and we'll be talking about two really important things. One is the second upper that's hidden away in this shoe, and the other thing is, for me, my favorite bit on the shoe is in most people's, not even in most people's top 10 features on this shoe. I'm talking like most people will overlook this feature, but for me, it's actually my favorite bit. So with all that being said, let's get into this. Let's take a close-up look at the, I think, upcoming release of the Nike SB Dunk High Carpet Company. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel is my niche up soon day, my niche media design every single day from Tokyo, Japan. I bring content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews, and in the spotlight today is a Nike SB Dunk High. And just, this is not the Tokyo Butter 23 Dunk channel or something along those lines. I know you could be forgiven for thinking that, because this is the third day in a row with the Dunk. Yesterday we had the Dunk Highs, just the Dunk Highs in the dark. I've forgot what it was. I was going to say Moffat, but it wasn't Moffat. Musset or something like that. Some people call them the Dark Curries, and other people give them a different name. But then the day before that was the Dunk Lows in the City Market, a beautiful shoe as well. And here we are with the third Dunk. Don't plan it this way. I just look for the shoes that are coming up in about a week to 2 weeks time. According to Kicks on Fire, this shoe is dropping in about 10 days time, but then according to other places like Sneaker News and stuff, they've already done the raffles. So don't really care about the drop date. All I care about is how nice this shoe is, and it's absolutely stellar, like absolutely perfect. It's a beautiful shoe, and we'll go through all the details and the hits on there. So first things first, let's get into what I said. Two things at the top of this video. I said my favorite bit is probably in most people's, not in most people's top 10, and I also said about that hidden upper on these guys. So we'll go with the hidden upper first. So I'm going to show you the promo picture of the pair, but in an unusual angle. They usually don't show you in this sort of angle, with one shoe kind of slightly ahead of the other, almost like two people racing with one slightly ahead of the other. So we're looking at that there, and then I'll show you this, which is a picture of the regular sort of angle that you'd see that, and I'm like, can you see it? Can you tell? Have you worked it out yet? And what I'm talking about is I'll zoom in on the little bit of the medial side that you can see on this pair right here, and you can see it's all that washed out kind of water damaged blue throughout the top of the upper on that medial side there. But then we come back to that promotional pair I showed you already, and then we're zooming in again on the medial side of that washed out water damaged effect of the blue part, and you can see there's some yellow going on there. It's like, ooh, interesting, what's going on there? That's the first hint to these things. But then the second hint comes here. This is the first picture of the heels that I saw, with a very sort of standard look to them, although that little kind of eye shape panel above the ankle support, or the heel support I should say, in white looks a bit funky. The reason it looks a bit funky is because this picture here shows you what happens when you cut away the edge of that the top layer of the upper to reveal the second upper down below. Now what we're talking about here is, if I'm right, and hopefully this looks okay on the screen behind me here, but the left shoe has, is it brought to you from the Habibis at the Carpet Company or something like that, and then the right shoe has some, I think, Arabic writing, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know my alphabets of the world as well as I should be. I think it's Arabic writing. Correct me in the comments down below. In fact, anything in the comments down below, but this, correct me in the comments down below. But the thing here is not actually the writing. That's not what I'm most interested in. What I'm most interested in is zooming in on it and seeing around the edge. You can see that frayed effect where that white panel that I talked about before has been cut away to reveal the second upper below that. And that's our second look at the second upper. So we had those medials from before, which showed you a bit of yellowing in there, and now we have that heel, which shows you absolutely distinct branding to give you a total difference of those two uppers on the shoe. So something to look out for. I don't know if a lot of people knew about it. I'm glad to bring that to you guys today. And then the second thing that I wanted to answer was that my favourite bit on the shoe. So let's bring up the lateral side as best I can. In fact, I don't think I'll be able to find a picture of the lateral side, but I'll bring up that pair again in the standard sort of configuration, if you want to call it that. And what I'm talking about is on this right here, there's one little detail that I just think sets the shoe off really, really nicely. And I'm zooming in on it, and what I'm talking about is just below the swoosh, there's a little thin panel of grey, and I think it's suede, but I just love that placement of that, the size of it and the colour of it. It's really discreet, but it just lends, I don't know, it fulfills the shoe, it completes the shoe in a way that I can't imagine. Like I say, Fry Cook at Mac, I couldn't place something like this on a shoe to make such a big difference with such a small panel of material. So for me, that's my favourite bit. And other people, like I said, in their top 10s, this wouldn't even get close. And I'm going to go through all the different branding parts on the shoe that I can get for you guys today, and you'll see why in most people's eyes this little grey bit down here doesn't feature in their lists of favourite bits of the shoe. What does if we pan back from that, we'll look at two things at once. We'll look at the lateral side swoosh, and of course alongside that the sort of ankle and heel support, and then right below that swoosh is the Carpet Company branding with the star and the C in the middle of it, two of the main features of the shoe. So first things first, swoosh and support panel. Again, it's that water damaged feel that you've got on the blue with the white effect in there. And then with that branding just below that, it's great to see this kind of branding on the shoe. It's really like classic Dunk, to have that unique branding round about that heel point on there. And it's all in that weathered, deliberately water damaged feel to the shoe. And I think there's an Air Jordan 1 coming out soon. There's almost the same sort of tone of blue in this, and I think it's probably deliberately they've gone and made that kind of match up between the two. So there's two of the main features that most people will be more interested in than that grey panel, the branding on the heel, and then the tongue and the blue weather damage sort of effect there. Another place to go up to the tongues, and I personally do like this a lot as well, is that Nike SB branding up there, but underneath that it says Carpet Company. And I love it when the tongues and the tongue branding get a little hit of collaboration in them, because sometimes that's overlooked when it comes to adding a little bit of detail into the branding on a collaboration. And then panning back from that and looking down onto the insole, you can see the insoles. I think I'm right in saying they're different patterning on the left and the right, which I always say is something I favour, because it tells you the people who designed the shoe are more interested in design than money, because money is cheaper obviously to have the same branding on the two insoles. So I love to see that. And then a couple of secrets on the inside of the shoes. I've got this shot here of a look to the side of the lining, the light blue lining on there, and you've got that branding and white stitching on the side there, and then another angle looking into the back of the tongues. You can see also there the same sort of effect with the branding going on there. So hidden branding tucked away on the inside of these guys on the lining and behind the tongues. And then let's get into the midsole outsole unit. I think that's probably the last thing I want to talk about on this shoe. One is that the midsole is deliberately weathered. It's got a kind of yellowed feel to it, but that's deliberate to give it that kind of, like I say, weathered feel, which goes with the water damage of the higher up parts of the shoe. And then one of the most interesting features is the gum sole. I'm often critical of gum soles because I don't know if they match, or I don't think they match the rest of the shoe. But in the case of these, I think they've actually pulled it off pretty nice, especially when you go to the front end of the outsole, and you can see there that carpet branding in very bold colours at the front of the outsole, which contrasts really well with the sort of lighter tone to the gum sole on the outsole of these guys. So I think that's pretty much it. I didn't mention, actually, I'll go back to the insole, because one of the things I did want to mention was that because these are SB Dunk highs, you can see the heavy amount of padding that's supporting the ankle in there, which is a feature of the SB line skateboards. They need a bit more support and padding and stability around the ankles, for example, and heels to avoid injury. So you can see, looking down from above into these guys, that extra bit of padding on there, and that's that SB in this shoe. So it's an important feature. But I think that's just about everything on the shoe. I've got a feeling I've probably missed some things, but it's there's so much on the shoe. It wouldn't surprise me if I did miss some things, but it's just a beautiful looking shoe, and hopefully this fry cook has done this steak some justice, if not full justice, at least a little bit, because it's a beautiful shoe, an incredible collaboration. The guys over at Carpet Company, great job. This is a really beautiful shoe that I think a lot of people will be definitely interested in getting their hands on and putting into collections as much as wearing. So, and that's my take on the shoe today. If you know more about it than me, comments down below. Want to correct me on anything? Let me have it in the comments. Feel free. This is always open season at the Tokyo Bar 23 Sneaker Channel. If somebody's got something to say, or a different perspective, or actual facts, and they can tell us something I've either said wrong or I've missed out, please feel free to put it in the comments down below. I actually truly appreciate it, and I don't feel at all any negativity when people are hitting me up with comments that are helping people to learn more. So if that's the case, definitely hit us up with a comment down below. For now though, it's time for me to sign off and finish up this video. The daily drops keep on coming, and because of that I say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is that I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.